In a previous video, we walked through the procedure to convert an iRacing custom spec map from grayscale to RGB. While the procedure is fairly straightforward, it is rather tedious having to do it each time you work on a different car template. Affinity Photo has a macro function. You can record a sequence of actions and replay them as needed. Download the Affinity macro file from the link in the description. Now we need to import this macro into Affinity Photo. At the top of the screen, click on the View menu item. Select the Studio option, then the Library option. At the top of the library, click on the menu drop-down. Click on the Import Macros option. Navigate to the location where the macro was downloaded. Select the macro file and click Open. A new iRacing category will be created with the RGB Spec Map macro. I already have the macro loaded within Affinity Photo. It's a good idea to learn about Studio presets. They save time getting the Studio workspace into the configuration you need for specific tasks. Studio presets have a hotkey assignment. I have 3 Studio presets: Standard, Channels, Macro. Let's demonstrate the RGB Spec Map macro. This is the Legends Ford 34 car template. Let's make the custom spec map visible and hide the other layers. Now select the custom spec map. Now click on the RGB Spec Map macro. It's very fast. Notice the macro created a new RGB spec map. The original custom spec map is unaltered. Let's open the custom spec map to see the contents. Each layer has been converted to its appropriate color, and named nicely. Let's try the macro on the Skip Barber 2000, which I also have open and ready to use. Follow the same procedure. Make the custom spec map visible and select it. Then invoke the RGB Spec Map macro. Let's try the macro on the Ferrari 488 Evo. Perform the same procedure again. It's so easy to use. That's a more detailed spec map. It's a good example of why we may want to use the iRacing spec map as a starting point for our custom spec map. I hope you find the macro useful.